Hey guys, Coach Castle here, and I believe this is a perfect character building moment for myself, as well as a good moment to practice what I preach, and hopefully it's a teachable moment for you guys as well. So, as you can see in this video, this gentleman, Mr. Goob, was calling me out for editing my photos, and also he was kind enough to promote my services and my new book as well. You guys really should check it out. Now, after having been sent this video by several of my clients, I watched it and immediately reached out, and this is the following exchange.
We're just professional bullshitters. Coach Castle, welcome to the show. So this is Coach Castle, he's a coach, and I normally wouldn't hit a smaller account like this, but the dude's just lying. And he has some really strong viewpoints like, only morons do leg raises for abs. But that's not what we're here about. I mean, this guy's out here selling everything. He's got a revolutionary new book. $11 to learn from this guy. Now, the other day he posted this progress photo where he gained 8 pounds. And I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, there's something not right here. And thankfully he went and posted the photos on his page so I could zoom in on them. Around his stomach, that looks kind of odd, huh? Yeah, the tapestry is only waving in right where his stomach is. And in this one, it's only bending in where it would make his waist tighter. And this one is perhaps the best. He shrunk his fucking head. Look at this Honey, I Shrunk the Kid shit. And this dude just irritates me the way he speaks about people. Just another example of how your personal trainer is a moron and squats for no reason. And what a great way to address your potential clients. You have no idea what you're talking about, from Coach Castle. Maybe you have no idea what you're talking about, bud, because you're editing your photos. These bricks ain't supposed to be crooked, bud.
Hey guys, Coach Castle here, and I just thought I'd go for a jog, and then I thought I would demonstrate my new invention I haven't showed you guys yet.
Your new invention's a shrink ray for your head, isn't it, bud?
Now, I reached out because it appeared that Mr. Goob and myself were on the same page with discrediting fitness influencers and such, so I thought he'd be, rational to it. Now, I reached out because mostly I saw the video, I wanted to speak to him, but I was also bombarded with messages, a couple of emails from quite annoyed, pissed off people with quite disparaging remarks. Now, this, of course, is nothing new, as I receive many of these a day. However, not such a large grouping as this typically. But as you already saw from the exchange, yes, Mr. Goob is 100% correct. I'm going to use this as a teachable moment, though, however, as I've said, surviving embarrassment is character building. And in order to not be some kind of a psychopath or narcissist who's just completely wrapped up in their own world, thinking that everything they do is 100% correct, we do need society in order to establish course corrections, and make sure we know what's normal, acceptable behavior and stuff. Now, in this case, I did, of course, err. Now, I should say, there is obviously a large room for accepted behavior, including people like me who are massively introverted, very disagreeable, very conscientious, industrious, and all these things. I don't play well with others. I do things my way, which is the best way I know of available to me at that moment. But anyways, enough with all of that. I've come to a decision in light of these events, not because I think that anything I've done is wrong, and I'm not going to apologize, as in order to be anyone established at all on any magazine, anywhere in the world, any movie, whatever, have your photo framed anywhere, whatever, or even have it painted, your form is going to be exaggerated. Statues, I mean, whatever, it's going to be exaggerated. It's been going on as long as humans have been around. It's a big part of marketing, branding, legacy, all the famous bodybuilders, CEOs, kings, etc. Doesn't matter. Regardless. Personally, as I have made, literally, I've made fun of people for this constantly, my life, and yet here I am being a hypocrite. And to the best of my knowledge, altering like 50 of my photos the past month. Now, before you guys ask me why would you do that, Castle, and all these things, I really couldn't give you a good reason, really, except I have a phone app and I was playing with it, and I'm insecure. I really couldn't tell you that I was making myself more symmetrical. As you can see, it's not really good. But that being said, I'm going to stop doing it aside from light fixes to alter the photos to match the background, or I wouldn't make this public video declaring it so obviously. Now, the reason I'm doing this is twofold. The first part of this reason is simple enough for all to understand. It's because I do not want to be perceived as fake. And as if one part of me is perceived as fake, then my information might also be taken that way. And as you well know, it's not. It's non-debatable. As for the second part, it's also very important to understand that I believe I was falling in kind of the dark side of culture, accepting things to be fake instead of real. And as I constantly tell everyone and remind myself, you need to be yourself. And if you're not yourself, you need to spend some time in solitude until you know who yourself is. Now, I've always been real with you guys about my drug use, my training protocols, my failed suicides, my failed relationships, my marriage, my fault in them, all of the many horrible things that have happened to me in my life, and also how I overcame them and everything else. Now, I will continue to be real about my appearance as well. As you can see, this clearly happened today, roughly 5 hours ago. The reason for me making this reply video right now and doing such a very uncharacteristic video of me, a kind I've never actually done before, it's because I wanted to highlight several things which I teach constantly. The first thing I wanted to highlight is that you can be course corrected from very unlikely sources, provided you don't have an ego. The second thing is you should always be willing to take criticism from others and apply it to your life and your business. It's just going to make you better. The third thing is to not be fake, no matter what. It may be under any circumstance, unless you're a spy or something. The fourth would be that when you make a mistake, you certainly do not need to make it public. However, surviving embarrassment is character building, and if you publicly announce the mistake, you also publicly hold yourself accountable in the future, which is what I'm doing here. Most people are unwilling to accept criticism or learn from their mistakes, or even make their mistakes public as I do. And I mean, I have made, I don't know how many mistakes. I have screwed up many things, many times, intentionally, unintentionally sabotaging myself. I also strongly suspect that I will make considerably more mistakes and have considerably more failures than most people in the future. But this is the cost you pay when you try to better yourself, go against the grain, and do new things. Now, at many points of times in my life, I have had a tremendous ego, been very arrogant. I have not taken criticism nor learned from others or even tried to help anyone else. I've just been very selfish. However, I've been doing my best to be on an upward trajectory for a long time now, and I do my best to maintain the course. I have no qualms about making personal issues such as this public and using it as a teachable moment to others so they can avoid making the same mistakes as myself. This way you guys, hopefully, can be real too. This world is becoming saturated with fake people, fake images, and frankly, I just don't want to be one of them. And I don't want it translating to my real information either that will absolutely help people. Now, I certainly do have body issues. Due to certain screwed up parts of my body, muscles have been reattached, spinal imbalances, I mean, many things. You guys know about a lot of my injuries. I'm not going to regret saying that I was playing with photos and I feel bad about it. I certainly don't. I was not attempting to deceive anyone, obviously. I feel like Bill Clinton, Christ. I don't feel bad about this. I feel disgusted with myself. I feel like I lost respect for myself. I will say I've definitely changed my stance on the matter. I'm glad I caught it. Sorry, I apologize. I didn't catch it. I'm glad Mr. Goob caught it so quickly. But also, as soon as I watched this video, one of the main voices in my head for this decision came from Doug. And it just so coincides that I'm working on a tribute to him, actually just since his death. His beautiful posing in flashcard form and explained biomechanically as well, a lot of his talking points. And I quite literally was working on this while I watched this video. And I mean, quite frankly, I almost came to tears just thinking what Doug would have thought about it. I mean, Doug understands magazines and stuff, but he would never have done that to himself, and he would have, I mean, he would have had a few choice words for me, probably. Just put it that way. Quite frankly, I was just utterly repulsed and very disgusted with myself almost immediately. But that, again, it's a good thing to have that reaction. I'm very thankful, again, to Mr. Goob for making this video. But anyways, regardless, how can I possibly go against the mainstream fitness media when I'm doing exactly the same thing they are? It makes me no better than them whatsoever. Having a perfectly symmetrical body is not realistic nor attainable by anyone's standards, as humans are not built this way. Many injuries, my scars, they make me who I am, and I should not be afraid to display them simply because I don't like the fact that I'm unsymmetrical. And yeah, it is what it is. I don't want to have an unrealistic portrayal of myself, and I certainly don't want to live life with an unrealistic portrayal of myself either. I think it's also very important to point out that I'm a coach, not an athlete nor a bodybuilder or anything else, just somebody who trains intelligently 20 minutes a day, about 5 days a week to maintain my physique and grow. I should not be so concerned with my appearance. I mean, even if I was in a wheelchair, like my good friend Matt Morton, you guys all know, it does not diminish the quality of my information. I should also point out that I've been teaching the same exact biomechanical knowledge for over 7 years, from the point where I was only 155 pounds. I've been ridiculed and laughed at the entire time while helping people. I myself have only used these movements, as have my clients, for the past 8 years now, and I have been just laughed at the whole time. Doug, as you know, was extremely well known in the bodybuilding world for his many trophies and achievements up until his death. He was constantly ridiculed his entire life in spite of all that he did. He constantly received hate email on a daily basis. There is no amount of evidence that can convince the ignorant, closed-minded, dogmatic, and frankly stupid people in this world. This is why the vast majority of my content is geared purely towards the educational. Try to keep it quick and painless so you guys can get the info and have it explained to make up your own goddamn decisions. I only have a few videos discrediting and debating videos on my channel, mostly because many of the fitness industry arguments are completely flawed and easily summarized into just 5 points, which I already discredited in only 1 hour. But again, it's not a mudslinging event. It's not about name calling. It's about information and letting you guys make up your own minds. If these people choose to believe that their bodies are alien-made, not subject to the laws of physics, and made up of entirely different substances, I suppose they're also going to have to go to different hospitals to get their injuries treated, since they're so different from you and I. And by all means, let them believe their foolishness and train with traditional exercises and waste their lives and damage their bodies. They're going to get exactly what they work for. Just as when it comes to exercise science, and science in general, when new scientific data is found that contradicts old data and is proven to be correct, you should always change to the current scientific theory. I used to be a powerlifter who was obsessed with deadlifting, squatting, bench pressing, pull-ups, incline bench press, leg raises, and a large variety of other exercises which I would never do anymore because they're pointless, stupid, and damaging. Since I came across the information of biomechanics and realized I was completely incorrect, I changed my stance. This was not an overnight process. Nothing is. It took me many months of learning to understand entirely, and I was still doing deadlifts and squats sometimes, just because I had an ego and I was an idiot. But by the same token, I have no difficulty whatsoever acknowledging when I have been doing something very stupid, and frankly, to myself, like bad, gross. Thankfully, again, Mr. Goop, I have been course corrected, and I do believe him to be correct in his derision of others who alter their appearance online. He most certainly would benefit from attempting to look beyond my couple, and I do say couple because it's not many, photoshopped images of myself to the arguments I have attempted to sway him with. However, I cannot fault him, as most people do get in a very fixed mindset, as I've been guilty of in the past. And as he pointed out, I have no time or tolerance for stupidity, and I also call it out when I see it in a very disrespectful manner. And when it comes to something like me being a coach, I should most certainly show off my real body. But again, this is not an apology video. I see no reason to apologize. It's simply a teachable moment. So thank you all for your time and for indulging me. I hope I was able to teach you guys something. And of course, if you have lost respect for me or anything else due to this, I do completely understand, as I've lost respect for myself. I should have caught this earlier. And I'm quite ashamed that Mr. Goop had to point it out to me, a man I don't even know. But as I stated, thanks to our friend Mr. Goop, please, like him, do not dismiss my information, like, simply because I make mistakes. I'm a flawed human. We all are. We all make mistakes. The only way to learn is to make mistakes, but you have to learn from them. So that being said, guys, I've learned from this mistake. I'm making it very public. I won't be doing it again, so you guys really frankly don't have to worry about it, but please keep an eye on me. I'm just kidding. But don't discredit my information, guys. If any of you guys are watching this and you're still watching it and you haven't yet checked out my information, what I'm talking about is biomechanics and a whole lot of other things. You really should check out my information if you're at all interested. Of course, it's just going to be below the video. You can check it out. So anyways, thanks so much. I'm very pleased I was able to get called out so rapidly due to me being a terrible editor. I was able to rectify it before like spiraling down some kind of a nasty path. So a big thank you to Mr. Goop again, although most unfortunately, I believe he is still messaging me very rude and disparaging remarks. That's fine. This video is not really about him. It's just kind of a thank you to him. It's more about teaching you a lesson, making myself a better person. Coaches are people too, who are also subject to making mistakes and having lives. The only thing, in my opinion, which makes a coach a little bit different is they really do need to lead by example, which is what I'm doing here. Now, in this case, I'm most certainly wrong and quite disgusted with myself, which is frankly more important to me than Mr. Goop, although he did point it out, so again, appreciation. Hopefully you guys can learn from my example, not make the same mistakes, be a real person online and in person, and just don't make these mistakes, guys. You'll feel bad about yourself. I felt really bad, and I'm very grateful I was willing to accept this criticism, and I wasn't being a closed-minded prick. So, anyways, have a great day, guys.